Does prior perception affect students' test scores?
It's not.
Okay. Our background is Kansas State University has studied confidence and self-sufficiency and has concluded that people with high confidence in math tend to perform well. Study conducted by the National Institute of Education in Singapore has found that how well a student believes they do on a question usually correlates to how well they actually do. Professor Alana Foley of University of Chicago wrote, "For when they're math anxious, the anxiety and the emotion system of the brain interfere with their ability to hold on to information, so they end up performing much worse than they otherwise would if they weren't anxious."
Okay, our research question is, does prior perception affect students' test scores? What does this mean? Okay, we seek to find an answer to whether or not teachers should possibly contribute to test anxiety or confidence by sharing extra information about the results and whether it has a positive, negative, or no impact.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear. Okay, we hypothesized that our trial would result in a class told that prior students had done well would do the best. We found in our research that anxiety can have a negative effect on students on test scores, so we assumed that those told that previous students had done well would have less anxiety than the classes that were told nothing and that previous students have done poorly.
The procedure. A 6th grade teacher made a 3-question math exit ticket to give to 3 standard math classes. Another 6th grade teacher administered the exit ticket to their class without any extra information. The first teacher administered the exit ticket to one of their math classes and told the students that the previous students who took the same test did very poorly. That same teacher administered the exit ticket to their other math class and told the students that the previous students who took the same test did very well.
Results and analysis. We took the averages of the scores from the 3 classes, and they're shown in the chart. The first class, our control group, which wasn't told anything, scored on average 1 question better out of 3. It was out of 3, the exit ticket. They scored on average 2.5 questions correct, where the other 2 classes, which were told either students did well or students did poorly, scored around 1.5 questions right out of 3. So there's a clear picture that the first group did better.
Our conclusion is that with the results from our data, we concluded that students do best when not given extra information about how other students perform. We believe that teachers should not tell their students extra information about how others perform on a test, other students perform on a test, and they're about to take, because it can negatively affect their scores. We hope our research will lead to teachers reevaluating what they tell students before they take a test in order to maximize students' potential scores.
Okay. Our errors and limitations were that one of the classes that took the test was taught by a different teacher, meaning that the students were possibly taught slightly different lessons or techniques. One class was later in the day than the other, which could have impacted scores due to students being exhausted and less concentrated. And our last one is that due to limited students attending the 6th grade at the Heschel School, the sample sizes were too small and probably not an accurate presentation of students as a whole.
Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, should I stop?
Yep. So, more notes. So why don't you stop sharing and we'll go into gallery view. I'll give applause. Excellent. Look at all of your accolades. So now you guys can manage the questions, and a reminder to everyone, they could be compliments, comments, clarification, anything that you'd like to ask right now.
Thomas.
For the what level math group did you do?
Standard.
We did standard, so that like
All
they would all
three of
be
them
equal.
were standard.
And like you did like standard curriculum like math.
Yeah.
We asked the teachers like what they were learning, and the teachers designed an exit ticket that would be good for them, so it would be more accurate. Tallulah.
I just wanted to compliment. I liked the rainbow slide, with the do you have any questions, and also the first one.
Thank you.
Ginger.
I liked how organized your guys' slides were, and I thought it was very nice and
Thank you.
Sarah?
So I have a few questions because we actually have a couple minutes in your session still. So the first is, you touched on this idea that you were limited on time given our circumstances and some changes to your experimental design, and so your sample size was a bit small. And I'm wondering if you could speak to what you think would be an appropriate sample size in order to make a reliable conclusion. Or if you were to or if you were to redesign this, what would that design look like, right? To push your experiment even further. So what steps would you have taken that would have made your data more accurate? And then moving forward, what else would you like to investigate to make sure that this is a reliable conclusion? I know that we spoke a lot about whether or not you actually had you were able to make a conclusion, and you redesigned your project a little bit to add that second piece with the math teachers testing. So I think it'd be interesting for you guys to speak to that, even though you didn't have the time to test.
Okay, wait, so you want us to tell about what happened before, or what we should do to make it better?
What you would have done to make it better, and what you would have done and what you needed to do to have more reliable data.
Okay, so we needed to not have any interference. We originally wanted to test the 8th grade, but most 8th graders knew what was happening, so it didn't really have the same effect also we're not in the same position as a teacher, so it wouldn't be the same authority. And so we fixed that by having it be the 6th grade and the teachers administer the tests. But also we said that the sizes were too small. If we had enough resources, which obviously we don't, we would probably go to other schools and test other kids, so we know it's not just they're a Heschel thing, and also we have more kids to study. So I think we would keep mostly our procedure the same, but have a much bigger sample size with different schools.
Great. I think there's one more question. Michelle, did you have a question? Michelle, do you have a question? You frozen?
I think she's frozen.
Okay, do we want to give it 1 minute before we move on? See if she comes back. Okay, I think she's still frozen. So unfortunately, I think we'll transition, and we'll if we need to, we could come back to Michelle's question. I'm going to end your recording.